India, a land so massive it barely fits on any map. From the snow-capped Himalayas to sun-bleached deserts, from rainbow-bright festivals to temples older than time, it's a symphony of colors, cultures, and stories. In this video, we're counting down the top 10 destinations that define the magic of India. From royal palaces to sacred rivers, tranquil beaches to ancient caves. Each stop gives you a fresh glimpse into this endlessly fascinating country. Stick around. Destination number 1 is downright breathtaking, and you'll want to catch every moment. Number 10. Udaipur. Udaipur isn't just a city. It feels like a watercolor painting that someone brought to life. Nestled in the heart of Rajasthan, it's often called the City of Lakes. And when you see it, you'll know why. Imagine standing at the edge of Lake Pichola at sunrise. The water is still, reflecting the creamy white marble of the lake palace like a mirror. Boats glide past slowly, their ripples making the palace shimmer as if it's floating on clouds. But Udaipur isn't just about the view, it's about how the city makes you feel. The city palace, with its courtyards and intricate mosaics, feels like walking through a jewel box. Climb up to the Monsoon Palace, perched high above the city, and you'll catch a sunset that'll stay with you forever. Blushing skies, golden hills, and the soft hum of temple bells below. Wander into the narrow alleys of the old city and it's like time presses pause. Spice-laden bazaars, hand-painted doorways, and artisan shops selling everything from silver trinkets to hand-embroidered shawls. You might even stumble into a rooftop cafe where a stray cow blocks the staircase, and nobody minds. Here's the part I loved most. Even in the middle of a bustling Rajasthani town, there's a gentleness. Locals will invite you for chai just to talk. There's no rush, just stories, smiles, and saffron-scented air. Want something truly unique? Visit during the Mewar festival in spring. The city explodes with music, floating flower arrangements on the lake, and traditional dances that make the courtyards come alive. Udaipur feels like a dream you don't want to wake up from, and maybe, just maybe, you won't. Up next, a golden temple that glows both day and night. Stay tuned for number 9, Amritsar. If Udaipur feels like a dream, then Amritsar feels like waking up into something sacred. This Punjabi city isn't just another stop on the map. It's a beating heart of devotion, history, and resilience. The moment you enter the Golden Temple, or Harmandir Sahib, you feel it. Something shifts. It's not about religion. It's about peace. Walking barefoot across the cool marble floors, hearing the soft chanting echo over the water, and seeing the golden domes glow under the sunlight. It's a moment that silences the noise in your head. And then, there's the Langar. This free community kitchen serves over 100,000 meals a day to anyone from anywhere, no questions asked. I sat cross-legged on the floor with strangers from across the world eating simple lentils and flatbread, and I swear it was one of the most grounding meals I've ever had. Step outside the temple and you're in a whirlwind of color and sound. Streets buzz with the scent of tandoori smoke, the sparkle of embroidered yuddis, and the shouts of rickshaw drivers weaving through the crowds. This is Amritsar's duality, spiritual calm wrapped in street-level chaos. One evening I watched the Wagah border ceremony where India and Pakistan soldiers engage in a synchronized high-stomp parade filled with dramatic flair. It was loud, theatrical, even funny, and yet underneath it all you could feel the tension of history. Want to dig deeper into India's past? Just steps from the temple lies Jallianwala Bagh, a peaceful garden with a tragic memory. Site of a 1919 massacre that changed India's freedom movement forever. Amritsar teaches you that devotion isn't silent, it's lived, it's sung, it's served on a plate. And when you leave, you don't just carry memories, you carry a part of its soul with you. Next stop, a place where the mountains kiss the sky and prayer flags dance with the wind. Get ready for number 8, Ladakh. Ladakh doesn't feel like part of this world. It feels like a forgotten corner of the heavens. Perched in India's far north, where the Himalayas rise so high it's hard to tell where the mountains end and the sky begins, Ladakh is less of a destination and more of a transformation. From the moment your plane descends into Leh, the main town, you know you've entered a different reality. The air is thin, crisp, and filled with silence. Not the quiet you get in a library, but the kind that makes you listen to yourself. Time moves slower here. Leh sits at over 11,000 feet above sea level, and trust me, you feel it. Every step takes more breath. But the views? They'll take what's left. Picture rugged brown peaks capped with snow, winding roads that cut through lunar-like landscapes, and tiny whitewashed monasteries clinging to cliffs. Waking up here was surreal. I remember sipping butter tea while watching monks in maroon robes chant in the morning light at Thixi Monastery, a 12-story wonder that looks like it grew right out of the mountainside. The chants echoed across the valley like a whisper from the universe. And then, there's Pangong Lake. You've seen it on screens, but nothing compares to seeing it in real life. The water shifts from sapphire to turquoise to deep indigo as the sun moves. I stood there, in near silence, completely alone, except for a couple of yaks in the distance. It felt like the earth was breathing. Feeling adventurous? Try driving the Kardungla Pass, one of the highest motorable roads on earth. It's a rough ride, but the bragging rights are totally worth it. Ladakh isn't flashy. It doesn't ask to be photographed or praised. It just exists, bold, bare, and breathtaking. And it teaches you something quietly powerful, that the best journeys take you far from crowds and closer to yourself. Coming up, palm trees, sunsets, and the beachside rhythm of life. Let's head to number 7, Goa. If Ladakh is silence, then Goa is sound. The sound of waves, laughter, beachside music, and life being lived out loud. This tiny former Portuguese colony on India's western coast packs more color, flavor, and vibe than places 10 times its size. And honestly, it doesn't just welcome you, it seduces you. Most people land in North Goa, where the energy is high, the nightlife louder, and the beaches always buzzing. I stayed near Candolim Beach, where shacks light up at night and locals grill fresh prawns with a side of stories. You dance barefoot in the sand, sipping cold kingfisher beer under strings of fairy lights. Time disappears here. But if you want peace, head south. Palolem Beach is a slice of tropical calm I'll never forget. One morning I woke up in a beach hut. Wooden walls, no AC, but a direct view of the sea. I walked out just as the sun rose, casting gold across the water. Fishermen were pulling in nets, dogs were stretching in the sand, and I realized I hadn't touched my phone in hours. It was bliss. For a little magic, try kayaking at dusk through the mangroves of Kola Lagoon. It's where the sea meets the jungle, and the only sounds are paddles, birds, and your own breath. And Goa isn't just beaches. There's a deeper charm in its Portuguese-influenced towns like Panaji and Old Goa, where crumbling cathedrals stand beside bustling markets, and where you'll find spicy vindaloo, fado music, and pastel-colored homes behind every corner. One afternoon, I rented a scooter and just rode aimlessly through coconut groves, stopping at roadside cafes with names like Dreamcatcher or Sunset Vibes. That ride is etched in my memory as the most carefree I've ever felt. Goa isn't just a place to visit, it's a place to feel alive. Up next, a city where ancient walls echo with the voices of emperors and revolutionaries. We're heading to number 6, Delhi. Delhi isn't just a city, it's a living, breathing time machine. You can walk from a 700-year-old ruin straight into a neon-lit street market in the span of 5 minutes. And somehow, it all works. When I first arrived in Delhi, it overwhelmed me. It was noisy, fast, unpredictable. But beneath the surface chaos, there's something magnetic about it. This city pulls you in and doesn't let go. Let's start in Old Delhi, the beating heart of the past. I remember stepping into Chandni Chowk, a narrow maze of spice stalls, sari shops, and food carts sizzling with street food. The air smelled like cumin, cardamom, and history. I grabbed a paper plate of hot jalebi and watched a man expertly thread jasmine garlands by hand. It was like walking through a memory I never knew I had. Then there's the majestic Red Fort. Built in the 17th century by Shah Jahan, the same emperor who commissioned the Taj Mahal, this massive sandstone fortress feels like a history book in 3D. Standing beneath the Lahore Gate, I imagined what it must have been like when ancient armies marched through or emperors gave royal proclamations. Want a secret view of Delhi's soul? Climb to the rooftop of a spice market in Kari Baoli. From up there, the city stretches out like a moving painting, horns blaring below, kites flying above. Now shift to New Delhi, and suddenly you're in a world of tree-lined boulevards, embassies, and wide-open space. The contrast is surreal. You can visit India Gate, a war memorial standing proud like India's own Arc de Triomphe, and then stroll over to the grand dome of Rashtrapati Bhavan, the presidential residence. Delhi also holds spiritual treasures. Lotus Temple, shaped like a blooming flower, where silence echoes louder than any sermon. And Jama Masjid, one of the largest mosques in India, where I stood barefoot on warm marble as pigeons circled overhead. And let's not forget the food. Delhi isn't just a feast, It's a religion. I still dream of the butter chicken at Moti Mahal and the melt-in-your-mouth kebabs in Nizamuddin. Delhi taught me this. Some places you visit, and some places visit you. Delhi does both. Coming up next, an underground world carved in stone, filled with ancient art and spiritual whispers. Let's explore number 5, the Ellora and Ajanta caves. Most people dream of lost cities, but in India, some are hidden not in the jungle, but inside solid rock. Welcome to Ellora and Ajanta, where monks, artists, and sculptors spent centuries carving entire worlds out of stone, with only chisels, vision, and an almost otherworldly patience. Let's begin with Ellora. I still remember the feeling when I first stood in front of Kailasa Temple, Cave 16. It's not just a temple, it's an entire mountain that was hollowed out and turned into a spiritual fortress. Think about that. They carved it from top to bottom from a single rock face over 1,000 years ago. No cranes, no machines, just devotion and artistry. Walking through Ellora feels like stepping into a forgotten kingdom. Buddhist, Hindu, and Jain caves all coexist here, each one echoing with centuries of meditation, chanting, and prayer. One moment, you're in a Buddhist monastery carved with serene Buddhas. The next, you're in a Hindu cave where gods battle demons on walls frozen in mid-fight. Want a mind-bender? Kailasa Temple is twice the size of the Parthenon in Athens, and it was carved, not built. A 2-hour drive away, tucked into a horseshoe-shaped gorge, lies Ajanta. Here, the mood changes. It's quieter, softer, and somehow more intimate. Unlike Ellora's monumental scale, Ajanta's beauty is in its detail. I walked into Cave 1 and gasped. Walls and ceilings shimmered with 2,000-year-old paintings. The colors were still there. Deep blues, warm golds, rich reds. They tell stories from the life of the Buddha, painted by hands long gone, but still reaching across time to whisper, "We were here." I sat on a stone bench inside one of the caves for over an hour. Not because I had to, but because I didn't want to leave. The stillness felt sacred. It was as if the rock itself remembered every footstep, every prayer, every breath that ever passed through. And here's the kicker. These caves were forgotten for centuries, hidden by overgrowth and time, until British officers stumbled upon them in the 1800s. Can you imagine being the one to rediscover this world? If you think you've seen ancient wonders, you haven't seen these. The Ellora and Ajanta caves aren't just monuments, they're living testaments to what human hands and hearts can create when they truly believe in something bigger than themselves. Next, we're diving into the most sacred, surreal, and soul-shaking city in India. It's time for number 4, Varanasi. Varanasi doesn't ease you in, it throws you straight into the heart of India's soul. It's loud, it's intense, it smells like incense, wood smoke, chai, and sometimes the Ganges. And yet, it's one of the most powerful places I've ever stepped foot in. When you walk the ghats of Varanasi, the long stone steps that spill into the sacred Ganges River, you're not just sightseeing. You're witnessing one of the world's oldest, uninterrupted spiritual rituals still alive today. I'll never forget the first time I saw the sunrise arti ceremony at Dashashwamedh Ghat. It was still dark, the river calm like glass. Then slowly the city began to wake up. Bells rang, conch shells sounded, and priests in golden robes moved in perfect rhythm, lifting lamps of fire to the heavens. The sky turned orange and the smoke curled into the dawn. It didn't feel like a performance. It felt like the universe itself was being honored. In Varanasi, sunrise is not just the beginning of a day, it's a sacred reset button for the soul. But Varanasi is also a place that forces you to look at what most of us avoid: death. Cremation fires burn 24/7 at Manikarnika Ghat. I stood just a few meters away, watching as families gathered in quiet reverence, sending loved ones off with fire and prayer. It wasn't morbid, it was human, honest, even comforting. And then, just around the corner, kids were playing cricket, sadhus were chanting, a man was selling sweets shaped like flowers. Life and death weren't separate. They were neighbors. Walking through the old city, I got lost. Literally. The alleys are a tangled mess of centuries-old paths where cows have the right of way, and you might find a shrine the size of a shoebox tucked into a wall. Every turn felt like a secret, every corner a story. I met a man named Ramesh who's been rowing his boat on the Ganges for over 30 years.
He told me, people come here to wash away their sins, but if they sit quietly and listen, they'll find more than just forgiveness. They'll find truth.
That stayed with me. Varanasi isn't always easy to explain, but if you let it, it'll crack something open inside you, not with logic, but with feeling. This isn't just a city, it's a mirror held up to your spirit. Next up, waterways, wildlife, and a touch of tropical paradise. Let's float into number 3, Kerala. They call it God's own country, and honestly, I get it now. Kerala isn't just a destination, it's a feeling. The moment I arrived, everything felt softer, quieter. The air smelled like coconut trees and cardamom. The sunsets felt slower, deeper, like even the sky wanted to stay a little longer. The real magic starts on the backwaters, a network of slow-moving rivers, lakes, and canals, lined with swaying palm trees and sleepy villages. I boarded a traditional Ketuvalam houseboat made from bamboo and coir ropes, no nails, just craftsmanship passed down for generations. As we drifted through the still water, I watched life unfold along the shores. Kids laughing and jumping in the river, women in bright saris washing clothes on stone steps, fishermen throwing nets with the same rhythm their fathers and grandfathers used. I didn't speak their language, but somehow, I understood everything. Want to know what peace sounds like? It's the gentle splash of an oar in Kerala's backwaters at dawn. We docked near a village where the local family welcomed us with warm smiles and hot sadhya, a traditional vegetarian feast served on banana leaves. Over 20 different items, each one a new flavor, a new story. Spicy, sweet, sour, just like Kerala itself. But there's more here than just water and food. In the Thekadi Wildlife Sanctuary, I trekked through a forest so dense it felt like stepping into a nature documentary. And then I saw it, a tiger paw print. Fresh. My guide froze, smiled, and whispered, "He's watching us." Heart stopped. Kerala also celebrates with unmatched joy. I had the luck to witness Thrissur Puram, a temple festival like no other. Imagine dozens of elephants in full regalia, drummers beating rhythms that shake your bones, and fireworks so loud they make your soul jump. It's chaotic and beautiful. Pure Kerala. And don't miss Kochi, the city where history meets hipster. You'll find ancient Chinese fishing nets swaying alongside contemporary art cafes and 400-year-old synagogues sharing street space with street food stalls. The past and the present live in harmony here, like old friends. I left Kerala with sandalwood on my skin, spices in my bag, and a strange ache in my chest. Like I had to promise I'd come back someday. And I will. Because Kerala doesn't try to impress you, it just welcomes you. And that's what makes it unforgettable. Next up, romance carved in stone. Let's visit India's most iconic tribute to love in number 2, Agra and the Taj Mahal. You've seen it in photos. You've heard the legends. But nothing, absolutely nothing, prepares you for that first moment the Taj Mahal appears before your eyes. It doesn't just sit there, it glows. The white marble changes color with the day, rosy at dawn, golden at sunset, silver under moonlight. It's almost like the Taj is alive, breathing with the rhythm of time and memory. I still remember the silence that fell over our group when we stepped through the Great Gate and saw it. People actually gasped. A few had tears in their eyes. That's the kind of energy this place carries. They say the Taj Mahal is a tomb, but what if it's actually a living poem? One that whispers devotion with every breeze. Built by Emperor Shah Jahan as a tribute to his beloved wife Mumtaz Mahal, who died giving birth to their 14th child, this monument isn't just beautiful, it's heartbreak etched in stone. Every curve, every arch, every blooming lotus carved into the marble. It all tells the story of a love so deep, it defied death. I remember running my hand along the smooth marble walls, chilled even in the midday heat. It was surreal to think that somewhere inside, two lovers lay side by side for eternity. But Agra is more than just the Taj. Just across the Yamuna River lies Mehtab Bagh, a peaceful garden with one of the best unobstructed views of the Taj. I went there for sunset, and as the sky turned orange and the birds flew home, I saw the Taj's reflection shimmer in the water. No crowds, no selfies, just me and that moment. It felt like I was witnessing a secret the world had forgotten. And then there's Agra Fort, a red sandstone fortress that feels like it belongs in a different world. It was from here that Shah Jahan spent his final years, imprisoned by his own son, staring across the river at the Taj Mahal he could no longer touch. That alone broke my heart. Walking through its chambers and balconies, I could almost hear whispers of royal intrigue and lost dreams. Beyond the monuments, Agra is a mix of old and new, bustling markets and roadside chai stalls, artisan workshops crafting marble inlay just like their ancestors did for the Taj. A local craftsman showed me how they shape tiny pieces of precious stones, turquoise, lapis, onyx, into intricate floral patterns. It takes weeks, sometimes months, just to finish one tabletop. Patience is love, he told me, just like the Taj. That line stuck with me. Agra isn't just a stop on your India trip, it's a place that reaches into your chest and gently squeezes your heart. And once you leave, the echo of that marble masterpiece follows you. Next, from forts to floating palaces, let's head to the final crown jewel, number 1, Jaipur, the Pink City. If India were a crown, Jaipur would be the gemstone glowing right at the front. It doesn't just have color, it is color. The first thing that hits you, the buildings, pink, everywhere. Not Barbie pink, not pastel pink. This is a warm terracotta rose that bathes the whole city in a royal glow. It feels ancient and bold at the same time. But it's not just aesthetic, it's symbolic. Back in 1876, the city was painted pink to welcome the Prince of Wales. Pink means hospitality in Rajasthani culture. And to this day, Jaipur keeps the tradition alive. You don't just visit this city, you get welcomed by it. Ever walked through a city that feels like a living museum but smells like street food? That's Jaipur. Let's start with Amber Fort, perched high on the hillside like a sandstone castle from a fairy tale. I took a jeep ride up at sunrise, highly recommend. The fort shimmered in gold as the light hit its walls, and the view over Maota Lake took my breath away. Inside, the Sheesh Mahal, a hall of mirrors, is so mesmerizing that even a single candle can light the whole space. It made me feel like royalty. For about 10 minutes until I tripped on my shoelace in front of a tour group. Regal moment, ruined. Still worth it. Then there's the city palace, where the past still lives. Part of it is a museum, but the other part? Yeah, the royal family still lives there. How wild is that? Every courtyard tells a story, but the Peacock Gate, with its hand-painted feathers and brilliant color, stopped me in my tracks. It's not just Instagram-worthy, it's soul-worthy. A few blocks away, you'll spot what looks like the front of a giant pink honeycomb. That's the Hawa Mahal, or Palace of Winds. Back in the day, royal women would look out from these tiny windows to watch the city without being seen. It's delicate, clever, and somehow hauntingly beautiful. But Jaipur isn't just about palaces and forts. It's about walking through Johari Bazaar, where the smell of jasmine mingles with sizzling pakoras, where you can haggle for handmade jewelry, embroidered fabrics, or even a pair of camel leather sandals that will never fit quite right. But you'll love them anyway. It's about sipping masala chai from a clay cup, sitting on a low stool, listening to a shopkeeper tell you that his great-grandfather once designed saris for queens. It's about watching the sky fill with kites during the Makar Sankranti festival, a swirl of color and laughter and competitive spirit. I joined in, and let me tell you, trying to cut someone else's kite string mid-air is way harder than it looks. Before I left Jaipur, I visited the Jantar Mantar, a 300-year-old astronomical observatory with the largest stone sundial in the world. Somehow, the shadow told me it was time to go. But I didn't want to. Because Jaipur isn't just the end of a trip. It feels like the beginning of a lifelong fascination. The colors, the stories, the rhythm of it all, it stays with you, forever. And that, my friend, was Jaipur, the majestic pink city, and the final stop on our journey through the best places to visit in India. India isn't just a country you visit, it's a story you walk through. Every city, every face, every spice in the air has something to tell you. Which place called out to you the most? Drop it in the comments. We'd love to know your favorite. Like if you learned something new, and don't forget to subscribe for more journeys like this. And if you're planning a trip soon, check the link in the description. We've got tips to save you time, money, and stress.